What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video, and today I'll be going through the 7-day challenge, which I'm meant to be kind of catching up on, but kind of life got in the way. So I'm just going to go through and walk through what stage I'm at with Exit 9 and provide you guys with a bit of an update and kind of keep this consistent. And we'll go in a bit of a deep dive and understand what Exit 9 provides for you guys if you do plan to buy it, and also what this 7-day challenge actually helps you with. So I completed day 3, I'd say last week, and I've just currently have to catch up on day 4 and day 5 as we speak. So I completed a guided coaching session. So if you go into, so this is the platform as you can see, and you gotta go over to the coach section, or the coaching, I think it's it's called the coaching, my coach, and you can pull up previous conversations that you've had with the coach. So I believe yes, so here we go. So this was last week where I was speaking to Exit 9, and basically it will provide you with an actionable step that you can actually take towards in something that you're pursuing or something that you want to do, right? So for me right now, I'm just playing a few days catch up because I'm also balancing work, gym, and everything else in life that it throws at you. So if you just kind of keep consistent, then you keep up that momentum. So again, if you're going to go with this and do this challenge, I'd recommend that you stay consistent and even document your own journey to see how your process goes with Exit 9. So where we were on day 3 was my concept for, building this and actually buying it is to kind of make a transition out of my current job role and essentially open up a car, something pursued in the car industry, automotive industry, that I want to pursue because that is my passion. So here, I know when I was speaking to the AI that I told it that I have the capital to buy my first car. The problem I'm facing is allocating time to putting it on the listing, and I need to know a bit more on the mechanics of car sales and generally sales, because that's how you actually source customers, right? So again, it tells you, so let me narrow this down to what actually blocks you from starting this week. So if you had to pick one, is it one skill that you can focus on, being the time to actually source, or actually working on selling, right? So I messaged it back, and again, that feeling of uncertainty. So there are periods where you'll see customers come in and they want to buy a car, and you'll see dips, because obviously dips and upward trends, because not everybody's gonna buy a car. So it depends on the audience and the target that you're trying to find, because everybody has their personal preference at the end of the day, right? So this is where we are at the moment. So I messaged back towards the AI, and I said, it's the feeling of uncertainty, right? As some buyers will question the authenticity of previous car service history and can be difficult to explain if there's no proof of raw evidence in terms of recent service history. Also, when the business, or if businesses get to a state where I have to source more cars, which to actually make a profitable business out of something that you want to do or a passion that you want to do, you have to source more, right, in order to actually gain momentum and actually make money out of it. So I said I need to identify a trend so that I can actually start making an income from it, right? So it identifies the blocker, and it tells you, okay, cool. This week, before you buy your first car, would it be more useful to spend time learning how to answer buyer objections or build credibility and learn how to source cars at scale? And I replied back saying it's more important to answer buyers' objectives, because look, when people come in, customers come in, you want to know what they exactly want from you, right? You're the expert. They come to your store to find out what deals you have available. The best value for money is what everybody wants, right? So yeah, I made the call based on that process. So Exit 9 told me to learn how to sell first. So your one sentence direction is, I'm going to buy and sell cars by learning how to handle buyer questions about service history, credibility as a seller, starting this week. Learn how real car sellers answer service history objections and build a buyer's trust. Spend 3 to 5 hours this week watching 3 to 4 used car sales videos, which I have done, primarily such as, Calvin's Car Diary, right? He goes out his way to purchase cars 3-4 hours from his location, and he's a verified car dealer, right? And he goes out his ways and he checks for service history. He uses these platforms that he's produced in order to make sure that the car's credible, it has authentic history behind it before he actually makes a deposit. Again, he's looking at an auction, right? And other YouTubers like Nam's Boost, right? If you guys are familiar with the car scene, he also buys his cars and goes on the auction, but he goes out his way to repair them, right? Because he's got the resources, he's got the people to do that. So again, you take note of their exact language and their credibility. Find one car dealer or private seller online, study how they present their service records, and answer buyer concerns in their listing. Listen or to read one guide on car sales objections handling. By the end of the week, you should be able to answer, how do I explain gaps or limited service history to buyer, and what proof do I need, right? So technically you could say I've started and put hours into learning how to handle objections from buyers if they ask for service history, right? They'll need full service history. They'll need to know the accounts, the money, how much each maintenance repair had to be carried out for whatever needed to be done on the car. And then you go back in and you check in with your coach, right? So once you've done the work, we'll talk about buying your first car and how to position it for a sale. So you can come back to the coach and you can, make that conversation with it if you need to. Primarily for me right now is to go back to the dashboard and just put myself back in this mode to realize what stage I'm actually at. So this is marked as complete. So we're on day 4, right? So day 4, I created a roadmap task, right? So for day 4 of the challenge on Exit 9, it says to create one roadmap task from your coach session. So you have one visible specific action to actually complete. So you set yourself up an action to do for that week, and you basically follow through with it, right? Just like in a job, like in a standard job, when someone tells you to do a task, you go out and do it to the best of your ability as possible in order to get paid, right? In return, you get the pay. In return, you get the experience for whatever happened during that moment, right? So again, roadmap tasks on the dashboard, I believe, is over here. So you can see the roadmap, and it will be under trackers, and you can create your own tracker, right? So I had set myself a task, I believe. I think the tracker and the tasks are 2 separate things, I believe. So yeah, to create one roadmap task, edit if needed, and come back and mark it as complete. So if I go back to the roadmap and look at the tasks that I set myself, the goal here was to see if you can open this up a bit more. Edit. Okay, so the task name was to research buyer objection handling service history. The due date was the 18th, which was quite some time ago. I've watched 3 to 4 used car sales videos, picked up on forums, study one dealer or private seller, which I have done, read and listen to one guide on handling service history objections. There's probably one thing I could definitely work on, but the other 2 are complete. So I'll save this task and basically check that off, right? So okay, well, I know that I've done that task for that period. Now if we go back to the dashboard and we proceed on, we can mark that as complete, and we move on to day 5, right? So day 5, which is currently a few days behind, but I'm gonna make sure I could keep this tracked on the log. So day 5 is to track your test actions this week. right? So it says here, create one tracker for your exit direction test actions. You commit to day 4 already. You've committed to day 4, so you can see what you can actually complete. So you got to create a tracker. So it'll take you straight to the tracker, and here you'll be able to essentially set yourself up some trackers, and you'll be able to hold yourself accountable for something. So you can go back, add a tracker, right? And you can actually help, the AI can help you build a tracker, right? So say, for example, in my instance, my task was to research buyer objection handling and find out the service history of vehicles, and also see how an experienced dealer has done his sale. And the tracker, your purpose of the tracker is to essentially create the tracker for an exit direction test action that you committed in day 4, right? So I will just get another tab open, so then I can log some of this information in. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay, cool. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to build or use exit 9 to build our tracker, right? So create a sample inventory tracker for sourcing cars. So then I'm able to identify profit margins. Accordingly. Build, and yeah, this will essentially provide you a entire tracker. So the AI builds it in for you. So say I wanted to create an inventory tracker, it will give you a description, and it will basically provide you with this tracker, so you can keep yourself in track with whatever you're trying to do. So it's a good way of implementing a bit of efficiency if you're trying to run a business, for example, when you want to track metrics, if you want to set goals. It's a good way to implement, because then it gives you a clearer direction of the path that you're going to be on. And the key thing is that you do this in baby steps, right? If you go all in, I feel like you can sometimes mold too much information in, and it'll just go out the window. So again, so this will essentially create a simplified tracker for myself, so I'm able to actually identify, am I on track with what I'm meant to be doing? So yeah, we'll create the tracker. So the tracker's created now, so this is all in the separated dashboard. So we'll go back and say, okay, cool, we've created the tracker, and we can mark that as complete. Now day 6 is to schedule your direction testing, right? So schedule one uninterrupted session to complete the exit direction test you commit to day 4, right? So now you want to schedule your own session, right? So if we go here, you put yourself a time block to complete a task, right? So say today, if I wanted to complete a task and I want to do it at a specific time and date, everything is all organized for you to do so. And then from there, you're able to identify what information that you need to schedule in order to complete the task in the correct and the most efficient manner, right? So say if I wanted to start this task and finish it by a certain date and time, then it will allow you to do that, but you have to schedule this all on your own, and adjust it accordingly to your own schedule, right? So I'll save this as an event, and this will be the upcoming tasks which I need to do. So everything's kind of categorized in such a way that you're able to identify what you're actually putting yourself or putting your energy towards, and it's all connected, right? So you can even connect to your Google account to the calendar as well. So we'll just go back and say that we also have completed the calendar, and you can also add extra things. Like I said earlier, you can connect your Google Calendar to the Exit 9 calendar and schedule in your business, your work, your health, your finances, whatever you have in your day-to-day life. Schedule it in, implement AI where needed so that you can be more efficient with your time. So I've scheduled in my session and I marked that as complete. And now on day 7, which is technically where we should be now, is to post a clear progress update so the community can offer support, feedback, and connections onto what comes next. Right? So we have to go back and hold ourselves accountable and talk about why and what we actually did in that first week. So I'll post that in the open channel where everybody speaks about their open ways of how they're experiencing and how they want to get out of their jobs, and ultimately become a better version of themselves, right? So I will do that and keep you guys in the loop. But overall, I think it's a decent platform if you're looking for any accountability. It just kind of provides you with that tight community if you're looking for other people or an inner circle, and AI is there to help you simplify it down into a better process and make everything a bit more condensed. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, please continue to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Take care, peace.